Hello friend, and welcome back to this Next.js and Contentful tutorial series. In the previous videos, in the last couple of videos, we saw how to make our website very dynamic and respond to changes and be and make sure that every change in the CMS are reflected in the app via incremental static regeneration and fallback pages, so that every time we change, let's say, a job title, a job description, the salary of the job, or the company name, anything that changes in the data layer will be reflected by incremental static regeneration via the concept of revalidation. So if I go again on the page, I show you what we did. Here we make sure that the fallback, we have a fallback to true and revalidation to 5 every 5 seconds, so the page is regenerated. But that's just one way of doing it. Okay, that's one way of doing it. You can make sure, you can also in Contentful has this concept of webhooks, whereby you can connect Contentful to many of these platforms, including Vercel and Netlify. In this case, we are talking about Vercel, and the next one we're going to talk about Netlify. But basically, a webhook is a message that the Contentful can send to this deployment platform to tell them to rebuild the whole website whenever something changes. Obviously, you can already see there that there's a major, there are pros and cons. Although with incremental static regeneration and fallback pages, you have some code to add, like all this code that we added here, revalidate 5 and the spinner and all that, right? You have more work to do, but you have also more granularity in terms of that, in the sense that unlike with the webhooks, incremental static regeneration won't rebuild all the pages. Right here already we have how many pages for each jobs, like 7 pages already. Okay, and for each company we have 3 companies here, that's 10 pages, and the home page, that's 11 pages, right? So if we change just one single character in this job, webhooks are going to rebuild 11 pages, regardless of the fact that only a single character on a single job changed, right? The whole application, all the pages are going to be rebuilt, right? So that's the con of the webhooks way of doing of updating the website based on the content, in the changes in the content. But I think it's worthwhile to have a look at it anyway. So the first thing we're going to do in order to accomplish that, we're going to go to our application here, and we're going to go to open our application and go to settings. Okay, and then Git, and then here we're going to create the deploy hook. Let's say Contentful, let's call it Contentful React to changes in Contentful data. Okay, and obviously we're going to sync this to our main branch, and we're going to create a webhook. It's going to give us a link, very good, that we copy, and then we're going to use that link here and add it here in the webhooks. To find this page, you click here, you go to webhooks, so settings, webhooks, and then add, click on Vercel, which is what we are doing now. We click here, create a webhook. Wonderful, and it's going to create the webhook for us. Then we're going to come here to settings and try to configure the webhook a little bit more. We want to change, at the moment you see the different things, the different triggers, so you can trigger a rebuild when you create a new entity, but I think it's not what we're trying to do here. We want to react to changes in the actual data, not when we are creating the skeleton, the model, but actually when you're changing the actual content. Okay, so we can also react to delete, which is a sensible thing to do. Okay, so I think that's very good. I think, yeah, and then everything should be fine now. So yeah, I'm going to publish this. I've added the link. It's a post query, very good. So now let's click on save, and then now see what happens in Contentful, in the deployments. As soon as I change something here, we're going to see a new deployment build starting here. So let's go to content. I'm going to change a tiny character. I'm going to change, instead of Tailwind CSS, I'm going to say Tailwind here, and I'm going to publish the changes. Okay, so let's see what happens here. Vercel is going to start rebuilding the app. You see, it's already started immediately because we changed the data in Contentful. So that's the power of webhooks. Very powerful, but obviously with the drawbacks that I mentioned earlier, that all the pages have been rebuilt. Okay, so now all the pages have been recreated here, and as soon as it's done, it's going to show now Tailwind instead of Tailwind CSS. Okay, so it's still building. Almost there, almost there. Very good. I think it's done now. But you see, gone. It's gone, completely gone, right? So that's it. But all the pages were recreated from scratch, which is I mean, depending on the circumstances in your particular use case and scenario, you may want to stick to only ISR, incremental static regeneration, and not depend on webhooks. And it's also important to notice that in Next.js version 12, they added on-demand incremental static regeneration, where you can send a webhook. Like it's not exactly webhook, but it's the same concept. You can trigger the build for a specific page from your code itself, which is a fantastic thing. Okay, so I think that's it. In the next video and final video of this tutorial series, you're going to see how to do the same thing in Netlify. Thank you for watching so far, and I appreciate your company. Bye. Take care.